everyone, it's Sandra, and I'm really feeling the summer vibes today. So we're going to talk about my current favorite bronzers and highlighters. Bronzers and highlighters are products that I like to experiment with because there are so many great ones to choose from on the market. So I think in the bronzing and highlighting categories, I'm very much willing to always try something new and experiment. So I didn't feel comfortable doing like my top 5 favorite all-time bronzers video or like my top 5 favorite highlights, because actually 2 years ago I wasn't even really into highlighter, and highlighter is a new discovery for me. I've recently really been getting into it and just kind of embracing the glow. So let's start with bronzer, and it's the bronzer that I'm wearing today. This completely took me by surprise. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as I did. This was sent to me by Lise Watier. I'm just blown away by the texture. I'm really enjoying it. It's their baked bronzer in the color Havana. And the reason I really like this is because it has a bit of color to it, and when I apply it on the cheeks, it looks like I'm wearing blush and bronzer in one. It almost gives me the same effect that I get from using Tarte Exposed blush and one of my other bronzers. So I like that in a pinch, I can just use this all over, and it gives me a really pretty glow. That's actually what I have on today. And I like the finish of it as well. It's not matte, it's not shimmery either. It just has a beautiful satin sheen to it. It looks really natural and skin-like, but gives you a tiny little bit of glow from within, and the texture is really beautiful, really smooth. I don't find that it accentuates pores or texture or anything like that. So I am really enjoying this. I did notice that in the last 1.5 to 2 years, I have been gravitating more towards bronzers that have a bit of a sheen to them. Not necessarily a shimmery bronzer, but more of a satin finish. And then, of course, the Becca Sunlit bronzer in the color Capri Coast. This is probably my most used bronzer. I use this year-round. Capri Coast has very much a warm undertone. It might be a bit too orange if you have more fair skin tone. So just a word of warning, they do have 5 different colors, I believe, in this formula. So they have varying undertones, so you might find something that's better suited for you. But I love this formula. Again, not a flat matte. This actually looks quite shimmery in the pan, but it does not translate on the skin as shimmery at all. It just, again, it's a very satin skin-like finish, which I really enjoy. I just find that it lifts my cheeks a bit. And then we have the BareMinerals Invisible Bronzer in Tan, and this is a bronzer that I reach for if I want a really deep bronze. It has a really nice, slightly cooler undertone, so it looks really good as kind of like a bronzer and contour hybrid. So this is really nice if you want a very sculpted bronzing effect, but it is quite a deep shade for me, so I only really reach for this in the summertime, but I love it. I still love it. I still would recommend it, and I'm still very much enjoying it. I don't feel like I need to go out and try another bronzer right now because I'm very happy with those, and those are the ones that I've been using the most. And then, of course, the Clarins SOS Primer in the shade Bronze. This is a primer that I use as a liquid bronzer. You can catch my last makeup tutorial. I use this, so if you want to see this in action, make sure you check that out. This is a limited edition product, but it was limited edition last summer when I got it first, and then I noticed that it came back. So if you want to pick it up, it is in stock right now. They do a couple of different shades. They have a shade that's deeper than this as well. The tone of this, again, is quite warm, slightly orange. So if you like the Chanel Bronze Universal, like the Soleil Tan de Chanel cream bronzer, and if you like Becca Capri Coast, you will really like this. I'm really digging the cream products lately. I'm loving cream blushes, liquid blushes. I just find that they give such a fresh look to the skin. When I've tried to go back to my traditional powder face, I don't like it as much, so I always end up like taking it off and redoing it with creams, and just incorporating more creams in my routine has been really nice. I've really been enjoying the effect. And you will really notice that with highlighters, because out of all the highlighters that I'm going to talk about, 4 of them are cream liquids, and then only 2 of them are powders. My, how the tide has turned, because if you watch, oh my god, remember the Ride or Die makeup tag? I think I did it 2 years ago. And for the highlighter question, I very smugly responded with, oh, highlighter, I'm just so not into that trend. Now, your girl's out here with 6 favorite highlighters ready to share. Yeah, I've definitely come around. I love them now. I think what really turned me off initially when the highlighter trend really started to explode was all those really, really intense metallic highlighters. I have textured cheeks. My pores are pretty large. I have oily combination skin. My skin is acne prone. You know, sometimes I get clogged pores and lumps and bumps, and I have some old acne scars on my cheeks as well. So I can't really get away with some of those formulas. Like even the MAC highlighters, those are too intense for me. So I want something that is quite subtle but still gives me glow and doesn't accentuate the texture of my skin. So I think I just had to wait a little bit for the right product to come along. But I'm gonna start with some honorable mentions before I get into the favorites. And the first honorable mention is the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector, the liquid. Because the first highlighting product that I ever purchased was this, not this particular one. I bought it in Pearl when I first discovered Lisa Eldridge's YouTube channel. So that was like my first foray into highlighters, which is why this product will always have a special place in my heart. I have this in the shade Opal now, which I find suits my skin tone best. Especially in the summertime, Opal is such a beautiful color. It just gives a beautiful glow. And while I don't use this one on my face as much, I really like to use this mixed with body lotion in the summertime. It just looks so beautiful on the collarbones, on the chest, on the shoulders. So I use this more of like a body highlighter now as opposed to a makeup highlighter because the texture is a little bit tiny little bit too oily for my personal preference, but this is still, I still have to mention this, and I have to thank this product because this was like the gateway into highlighters for me. Also, the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector, the powder version. Again, I also have Opal. I also really like the shade Moonstone for like the winter time if I'm more fair, but Opal tends to suit me throughout most of the year, and I still think that Becca does the best powder highlighters. If you were to tell me I can only pick one particular brand for a powder highlight, I would choose Becca. I think that they do such an excellent job. Just so incredibly soft. It's just really, really beautiful. From the drugstore, I really enjoyed the Maybelline Master Chrome. This formula actually reminds me of the Becca formula in terms of the actual texture of the powder and how smooth it is, but it is a bit more of a gleaming highlight. But it's still quite flattering. Like, although it's called metallic highlight, it will not make you look like a sexy robot when you apply it. It almost, maybe it's because of this color, I have the shade Molten Gold. This almost looks wet on the skin, which is really nice. This is like as metallic as I'm willing to go. This is a very, very beautiful product. I usually reach for this in the evening if I really want that impact. I think it's such a fantastic highlighter, and I love the fact that it's from the drugstore, and the quality of the powder is on par with so many other high-end products that I've tried. In terms of the 2 cream products that I reach for the most on the daily, I have the Kjaer Weis cream highlighter in the shade Ravishing. I'm sure you've heard me talk about this before. You're probably sick of me talking about this because I've used this in so many videos. I mention this all the time. This is my favorite everyday highlighter because it is the most subtle. It almost has like a pearly finish to it. Just on the cheeks, it just gives me a little bit of something, and the formula is really nice. And I love the fact that Kjaer Weis is an organic, sustainable brand, and once you use it up, you can just pop it out and refill it. Everything in the range is meant to be refillable, which is great. And then for more of an impact, the YSL Touche Eclat Shimmer Stick in the color Light Gold. I love everything about it. The texture is so nice. It's so creamy, but not sticky at all. And this definitely packs a punch. It's such a beautiful, it's like a spotlight shine on the cheek, but it never feels greasy or tacky. It's just like a dry, smooth texture, which is why I love it. If you're afraid of sticky sticky textures and tacky textures, and you have oily combination skin, I think this is definitely worth a try. I'm really, really, really enjoying this. And then for more of a rose gold summer glow, the Marc Jacobs Dewdrops are great. This is another formula that I would highly recommend for somebody with oily combination skin. I have the rose gold one just because I like to use this with bronzer in the summertime. I'm really into like rose gold and bronze for summer looks, and this looks really nice as eyeshadow as well. A little goes a long way. I love this in the summertime. And again, the texture, it just dries down. It's not tacky at all. It dries pretty quickly, which is why I would recommend using a damp beauty blender to help blend it into the skin. My hands are very, very shiny right now, but that's what I'm really into right now. Those are my favorite bronzers and highlighters. Let me know what your current favorite bronzer and highlighter is in the comment section below. I always get so many amazing product recommendations from you, and I always just love keeping in touch with you, and I love knowing what you're buying, what you're trying, what you're using up. So we'll definitely keep in touch in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.